Hello and welcome to the Morning Espresso. It is 21:43. It is Saturday on the 13th. We have a coronavirus survivor here with us. He's got the coronavirus 12 times and he has survived. He's been out sick. Dr. Boogie has been out sick for 3 months.
I've survived 3 out of those 12 times anyway.
He survived 3 out of those 12 times. His ghost is here for a live interview. And he's going to tell us all what it feels like to have coronavirus, surviving coronavirus,
lifestyle,
writing your will, giving it all away, and then having to go get all your possessions off your.
This is my will, anyways. The will I got.
The will to drink pints.
Yeah, I will drink.
So, how did you know you had coronavirus? What happened to you?
Oh well.
Do you get there's weird things online saying you get massive toes if you have coronavirus and all this stuff.
Really? Well, I felt I was being told away, but don't know getting massive toes personally, but I got a massive fucking what's it, bronchitis?
You got bronchitis?
Well, it felt like it anyway. Could
All
feel
right.
like anything. Could feel like lung cancer. It could be anything. It feels like a lot of potentially very, very, very serious diseases, but it's most cases. Luckily, it's not. It can be, but it's not always. It's not what it looks like. It looks very different than to what it feels like. When you see another person with it, they just like they're dying of the flu,
right?
Typical flu, but it's not anything like that at all. In fact, there's quite a few differences. There are some symptoms of the flu as well, but there are some differences.
Yeah.
And the main one being is that the disease is basically a disease of the lungs.
So it's a lung based.
So if you take out all the, what's it called when all the guesswork, all the other outside layers and all that, if you get
it's
to
not symptoms, it's something else, isn't it?
take out all the bullshit and all that. I know it's a politer way of saying bullshit, but
yeah.
I can't remember, so I'm going to stick with that until I find out. It's typical, stored somewhere. I'm to try and dig it out.
Yeah.
So when you take all that rubbish out and then all that,
Yeah.
it really, the thing that's left in the core of it is that it's in the lungs.
It's in the lungs, right?
It's basically it's a lung disease, if anything else, and all the other symptoms are basically side effects of your lung disease.
Right.
So that's ultimately what, from my experience, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree, it's pretty similar as well.
Yeah.
For some, which I'll explain soon, it went a little bit further than that. Luckily, still a survivor, but a little bit of a fun time there with possibly of it going horribly wrong.
Yeah, I was saying to you, any good side effects, and you said no hallucinations, shite crack.
It's shite. You'd have
to
unless you might
Yelp
have
review.
You might have cool dreams before of it, but yeah, fuck you. Couldn't be arsed having.
Couldn't be arsed. You wouldn't recommend it to a friend.
Not really, no, because you might die. Like.
No, it's not worth the cost of admission.
It's really scary to think. SARS had a 10% chance of killing you, and coronavirus at any level you've an 8% chance of dying. Think about it for a sec.
Oh wait. Okay, yeah. What's SARS again? 10%.
It's 10%, yeah.
And this is 8.
Yeah, so it's not.
But that's
far
8. That's 8, no matter what, though.
I think on the average is 8, and then the average is 10 for SARS, 8 for coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I think anyone with who gets it has a probability of dying of 8% chance of getting killed by it. And I think even if from the healthiest, you could be unlucky, but the way, if you want to see the glass as mostly full, you've a 92% chance of surviving it.
Alright.
So, but still, anything over 1%.
So, did you survive or did you die?
I'll find out in a sec. Where is it? I'll call on the ghost of Dr. Boogie.
Ghost of Dr. Boogie.
So,
was it you who survived, or was it your twin that survived?
I think I was clones in frozen, not
frozen bios, something.
Chronologically frozen. Wasn't even that chronological. Fuck it, I have to take this off.
Oh jeez, who's this after coming in the room?
So this is the ghost of this is the person who died of the coronavirus.
Jeez. You've changed.
He didn't quite make it through. I'll tell you what it's like. Anyway, I can have it. So basically, I don't know how I'm going to drink this now. This is going to be weird.
Slurp it on into your eye there.
That's going to be sore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can still hear my mum muffled. Fuck it. It's hot. Fuck it.
I got the coronavirus blues.
Yeah.
I wanna give corona to you. Oh, I can't taste anything. I can't taste anything. I got coronavirus. I can't eat a bite. Oh.
My corona moisturizer.
My corona moisturizer.
It's like the nicest beer in the world. The beer gone off and the beer's taste sour. Corona sour.
Corona sour. It's a sour beer. So you caught it anyway.
Yeah, so yeah. So
do you know which flipper gave it to you? Did you find them and punch them in the street when you found out who it was that gave it to you?
And punching them's too nice, man.
Oh shit!
Way too nice.
They could have killed you.
Nah, I could have
Were you like that fucking dirty ass fucker who gave it to me, or were you just like do you know the moment that someone sneezed on you, or
if I did, I'd be in prison.
you'd be in prison? You would have murdered them.
Probably.
Damn. There's some mad videos like people with coronavirus licking poles on the subway and stuff. You're like, oh
Really?
shit, man.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, anything goes on down there in that subway.
And just subways in general.
Do you ever see that video? It was like a subway. I think it was in South America somewhere. There was like a guitarist on the. He was just randomly playing, and then he was just going absolutely mental. He just started banging his head like like absolutely mental. I'll have to show it. Shall I do it here on the?
Oh no, we can't. There's a copyright, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, he was just absolutely going crazy. He was like speaking in Spanish or something. We couldn't understand, but he went absolutely, to say mental. You think he was the corona? He survived corona about 50 times when you see him. But so I think most likely I caught it in an airport.
Yeah.
In a place.
Off a €500 note.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Expensive shit over there. One of the most expensive places in the world where we were at. Courchevel. Location, France. Anyway, we flew into a place called Geneva.
Geneva Convention? What kind of Geneva?
The airport. In Switzerland. And you had to drive across the border on the bus. So there we flew in, we got off the plane, and you basically arrive in like this kind of what looked like a barn, and this is not the main part of the airport. It's just some
Boogie, sorry to interrupt. I just love, because you're a musical talent, I'm just going to leave this keyboard beside you, because you can just be like, I was driving to the airport. Do you know what I mean? Without even thinking, like. Cause
I was out on the bus, and then the whole thing came. And then, so I got to the barn, and then
the volume knob's the last on the left there, if you need
this
any.
one.
Yeah.
Grand. So I was just.
Mind his own business, in the bar. He said,
So I was in the barn, the airport barn.
Oh, the barn!
It was a fucking barn. It was like a fucking barn. They had this barn that you just literally opened up for skiers, like just to cram the like 500 or 600 people in. So a whole plane full, and there were probably there were other planes in there as well. So we got off the plane.
Is these like little planes about like 100 people per plane, or?
They're like normal, your average jet-sized planes. So they weren't like mega size, but they weren't like propellers.
You're naturally travelling private because you're a big stock boy.
I know. I was just taking up 10 seats at one stage.
You like to put your feet up.
I wanted a fucking 4-poster bed on that plane, yeah. It's only a 2-hour
Make
flight.
it 6.
69.
Ah!
And then so we got to Drent is the barn. So well and good, fine. Big crowded, very very crowded. No.
A bar on the plane?
No barn. The barn at the airport.
I'm just kind of keeping my mouth shut. You keep going, man.
I'm just playing silly for not explaining. I'm winging it. So then we go through immigration. There's queuing up for immigration. That's the worst bit because that was took ages and massive lines going through for immigration. And then you're in the baggage hall. Took ages for our luggage to come out, as far as I remember. And then you go through, and then you go on the bus. And bear in mind, when you go on the bus to your resort, it's not just you know, everyone on that plane actually goes to different resorts. So that means when you get on that bus, you've people from other countries who have different flights that landed, like maybe just before or after you. They have to wait for them for your particular holiday package. They come from different planes who come onto your bus as well. Yeah. So then you all go on this one bus to different and stops off in different resorts. So we did our week of skiing. Perfect. I don't know how many people I might have killed with that coronavirus. The accidental serial killer. And then got back. Grand. Everything's. Oh, we found out about this thing, lockdown. The great lockdown. And then what happened was so I got home. My dad started getting sick. Daddy Boogie started getting sick.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's probably got it. And then I fucking get it. And then, so basically what happens is basically you start off, the way, for me, I'll tell you how it works.
What's the first sign? Yeah, we're like, oh shit, I have
literally.
That felt like coronavirus.
I literally, Corona, Mr.
Oh.
Let me just drink some Corona.
Yeah, well, what was the first sign like?
Literally that, coughing. And I remember just literally at one night, just like waking up like,
yeah.
And then I'd be fine in the day, and the next night, and then I was trying to hide it, and then I was like going to sing, and then I was like, "Are you okay? You need to go into isolation." Fuck.
Yeah.
And then my dad started getting sick. It's like, "How you feeling?" I'm grand. And he started getting worse and worse and worse. And it looked like, I swear, it was like a mixture between meningitis or stroke. That's what it looked like.
Really?
I don't know what it felt like to him, but it looked like he was having a full stroke. His mouth was kind of open, really like that. He was like, rather than where if I respond, I'm like, yeah, what's up? He was like, yeah, and all that. Like he would really, like, it's almost looked like brain. I'd hate to say it, but it looked like he was getting brain damage from it.
Yeah, so this was an older gentleman.
Yeah.
Symptoms of coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, he was at that age where it's much more serious. So
yeah,
you've
it's
a 20%.
crazy, like.
I think you've a 20% chance of dying at that age. I think if you do, whereas I would be in the 8% category probably.
8% of dying.
Yeah.
Alright, not living. Alright.
Yeah, of dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's 20% chance of dying. I think around that.
So
he kind of got where he was coughing and all that, but he was. Very slurred speech, extremely slurred speech. I've never seen anything like it before. And then just general, and when he was in his sanest moments, he's not a guy who likes to admit getting old or anything like that. So when he was at his absolute finest, he was extremely bad tempered and all that.
Yeah.
And like if we mentioned anything about him that involved him kind of lying down or feeling a little bit weak, he like, I think you got it from there. He's like, I don't fucking think I got it from there. And it's just like in a really bad mood the whole time.
It wasn't his best.
No. and then he was kind of ringing his like colleagues who works in hospitals, and they told him, okay, we're going to get you in and get you sorted.
Brilliant.
So luckily it wasn't so bad to have an ambulance, but we didn't know how it was going to go. But apparently they got him in just in time, in the nick of time.
Fuck.
We learned later on. The amount of times he escaped, cheated, grief, death and all that bullshit, and just very close to it, luckily. So then he went in, he rang about an hour or two after he went in and said that they're going to keep him in for possibly a few weeks, maybe a month, because he's quite bad, so they need to keep him in to keep an eye on him.
So you and your dad both caught it around the same time, and you were able to go home, but he had to go into hospital.
Yeah,
you both got the same thing at the same time.
I got the same thing, but I got it milder than he did. He got it, and surprised actually in a way, because he's a very healthy man, and he has very healthy lungs and all that. But this thing absolutely destroyed him.
It blew my mind when you said that to me. I was like, what the fuck though? Like,
yeah,
that lad's in great shape. Like, what the fuck?
Even we were absolutely shocked. We weren't prepared for what was going to happen, and he's not one to admit kind of stuff, but neither is the other one. But neither, I'm not absolutely brilliant at it, but I was. I did eventually kind of admit to like having certain symptoms.
Like, how long were you bedridden for like a week or?
I wasn't actually. Funny enough, I wasn't bedridden. I was able to get up every day. I was able to kind of go for short walks and things like that, but. Luckily I wasn't too bad, but certain times of day I'd feel better getting up at certain times of day. But my dad was bedridden actually. Before he went into hospital, he was bedridden. Yeah. And it's a horrible thing to kind of see, especially with someone who's always up and around and all, and next thing he knows he's just into the bed is a pretty unpleasant thing to have to go through. And you'd be checking up on him, just hoping he's not dead or something like that. And
yeah, it's shocking to even like that's the way it was. Like
it's shocking, like, 'cause it was so strange. Like when I was over in France with him, skiing with him, and everywhere the world was kind of just shutting down. And I was thinking, it looked like we were in this wonderland, and it literally looked like a fairy tale. Like they still had like Christmas lights and everything, just because the way the town's made up, it's so kind of fancy, and it literally looked like a winter wonderland fairy tale, like something you'd see in like Snow White. And I was thinking, my God, we're in this bubble, and yet there's all this carnage going on around us, and yet what's happening in this bubble? Literally, did we know that it was already inside us, waiting to explode? It's like a volcano waiting to erupt.
Yeah. Around the time, for anyone listening at home, when Dr. Boogie and co were getting ready to catch coronavirus, I was texting Dr. Boogie, just being like, have you heard of this thing on the news, coronavirus? It's all very strange or something. Meanwhile, this was before Dr. Boogie had caught it, and then a week later he had caught it. And it's just crazy, because you see all this mad shit on the news. If anyone's been watching the podcast, I was just like, it's some other one, it's happening in other places.
Exactly,
but, it's not
but
our
you
problem.
don't expect it to be.
And then you're someone you know, and their dad has it. It's like, what the fuck? And then
it's like that thing that happened on the news happening in your own house. Exactly, yeah. No, it's exactly, yeah. You just don't think, because I kept thinking on the news, like, they're going over the top of this, aren't they, a bit?
Yeah.
It's like, but no, actually, it's right on your doorstep. This is actually very, very serious.
It's crazy.
And, yeah, so then it kind of hits us, and it just erupts, like you're asymptomatic, which means you have absolutely no symptoms starting off with it. And there's an incubation period, which is basically when it goes into... How many
days do you think that is?
Usually 1 to 2 weeks on
really?
average.
You found that yourself anyway?
Well, we kind of discovered it. I think it was discussed to us. The doctors who were looking after my dad just told them. Well, he told them they got him in just a nick of time, because if he didn't, he would have had to go on a ventilator, which means you've virtually no chance of getting out alive. A ventilator is just a
life support.
Palliative. Yeah, that's literally what it is. It's a life support machine. The prognosis is always bad. Almost bad. Very, very few people get out of that unscathed. It's a horrific outcome, but they apparently got him just before it got to that stage, which is scary. And they didn't say this until afterwards. Probably didn't want to make things worse.
Yeah.
So then, basically, so then he was getting very sick, and he likes to get up early and all that. He's back to that now, but during the worst of it, he would be in bed almost all day. He was the total opposite to what he would be, complete opposite in such a short space of time.
Yeah, maybe a morning person or something.
He'd be up every morning. He still is, and even if he's gotten on, he just likes to. He's an early riser. He doesn't like to sleep in at all. I've only known him to sleep in maybe in the afternoon twice in my whole life. Yeah. I'm not joking. Actually, like if he was out with friends, but the only other time I've never known him other than this to ever sleep in ever.
Yeah.
So then this came, and then it kind of just got him, and he went downhill so quickly.
And you were sick yourself at the time, so that must have been emotional overload, because you already can't process that in yourself, because you're like, I'm just dead, and then.
But you know what's even strange? You're almost too sick to be emotional. And when you start recovering from it, that's when it gets you. Because you can start thinking properly again. Yeah. So even your sickness stops you from actually thinking or feeling properly, almost, because you're so concentrated on your symptoms and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's when you start recovering from it, that's when everything else kind of comes in, and that's when you can start feeling other stuff like the emotions and all that.
Bongers.
It was a bit of a emotional thingy when he went in to the hospital, because he just started having these ridiculously negative thoughts.
Like he did.
No, I did.
Oh, you did, yeah.
You just get.
You wouldn't know what to think.
Totally irrational. Just even if it's completely irrational, you just start getting crazy negative thoughts, like very distressing, and then, but like it's
destabilizing.
Yeah.
Situation.
It's a crap. They're absolutely rubbish. They are, but they are what they are. But
the hospitals or your emotions?
Oh, sorry, the emotional.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
The negative thoughts, but I think if anyone gets through them, just let them know that. While they may seem irrational, it's just your mind processing And the thing is to let yourself feel these thoughts and tell someone, even if you don't want to tell them what they are, just say that you're having these intrusive thoughts and you're going through a little bit of a tough time. And I know it's silly, but it's not silly at all. But you're having this experience at the moment, so then because of what's happening, and they'll understand. I mean, if they didn't, then you might want to find another group of people to. And then, his symptoms. Now, I couldn't really say what his symptoms are from a first person because I could only say what it looks like. I could speak for myself, but I wouldn't be able to speak for him what they were like.
Do you know if he felt different symptoms to you, like, because maybe more in the lungs? Because
he had started having hallucinations, and I don't know what it's like to be incoherent to the level he was. So I haven't experienced that yet. I mean, if I could try and describe it, it's probably like similar to when you first wake up from anaesthesia after an operation. It could be something along those lines, possibly. I mean, I could imagine he was very tired. I mean, he had moments of incoherence, and then he'd be okay, and then he might have different mood swings and things, like severe mood swings as well. Like he had those as well, but that's a lot to do with like his personality along with the virus as well. Like extreme mood swings. So from his point of view, from what I saw, he looked like he was typically, I'd hate to say it, but he looked like someone who was dying, basically.
Right.
He really did. He was losing his memory, losing everything. It's almost like dementia.
That's crazy. You think he's come back to full swing, more or less, do you?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
like he's
mad.
He does apparently have scarring in the lung, and I don't know if that will ever fully heal.
Internal, like, not from actual surgery or anything?
No, just from the disease. The corona is actually that aggressive. It scars your lungs physically. It's almost like a sharp. It's like a sharp thing because I had it, and it's a little bit different to any other cough. Your breathing is compromised a little bit as well, and mine was as well. So
does it come out of rhythm itself, or does it make your breathing any irregular, or
not so much that it's you can't breathe all the way in. Like really? If I breathe in now, like I'm okay, but when I had it in full swing, if I breathe like I'd be coughing. Like I'd just cough straight away if
around here, kind of cough just below the neck.
Yeah, kind of in your chest as well.
Really,
but it goes a little bit deeper though.
Kind of below the heart.
Yeah, you feel everything. Your whole thing just. You feel like if you breathe in, you feel like you're getting winded.
Yeah. And
you're coughing a lot, and then you're like just constantly. Yeah. So it's more like just a constant cough that won't go away, and it literally lingers. It lingers forever almost. You think it never. It's one of the most.
You seem perfect now. Did it take maybe a month to go away, that lingering cough?
So I'd say. So when did I get it? I got it in March. So I got sick. I was at my worst probably around the 5th. I'd say about anywhere between the 20th and the 30th of March. So 27th, 20th and the 27th of March.
The time is 22:06 and it's the 13th Saturday. So March something you were saying.
Yeah. So around the 20th to the 27th. Yeah, I'd say. 3 months ago.
What I'm dying to know is, like, from a lot of people, was there one telltale sign where you're just like, oh, hang on, this is not a normal cold. Like, this is definitely fucking corona. Like, I've never felt something like this before. When was the moment where you're like, oh shit, that cough, like, fucking tickled my little toe there a way I've never been touched before?
When I started having other symptoms, like...
Other symptoms,
like at what? The same time, like fever. Fever, right.
Bedridden fever, like...
Well, I mean, if I got up at a certain time to go to the toilet, let's say 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd be shivering uncontrollably.
Your whole body, like, with cold or...
Oh, no, just like high fever, kind of...
High fever,
I didn't get any blocked nose or anything like that. It was much more down here.
Chesty, right.
And you do get headaches as well, headaches, but apparently another big symptom is loss of appetite and a weird taste.
What's the weird taste like?
Well, I could give you one example. Right. I was having... Before I went away skiing, I was having this. I was having like a toasted sandwich with stuff in it that I really like.
Fucking course you were, Dr. Boogie.
Oh yeah, toasted. I was toast. I was ready for it. I was born and bred, you know.
Yeah.
And then
born and bred.
And then what was it? Then I started kind of, when I got back, even before I got sick, apparently I noticed when I ate it again, it's like, this is not quite as nice as it was normal. I didn't know at the time that was a telltale sign, but looking back on it, apparently, from research, apparently it is. If something tastes weird, and then I just had
So stuff tastes weird.
And then the next thing was an almost complete loss of appetite. Like really struggling to get through my food, like very, very much struggling. If I didn't eat much that day, I'd be full up too quickly. And then that along with the cough, they were, just because of the time that, if this happened like 6 months ago, I wouldn't be able to tell that it was the coronavirus at all. But I know that, I just thought it was another bad. But then it was a very kind of sharp cough. It's kind of very sharp feeling down here.
So it hurts kind of when you cough then?
Yeah, it is.
Sharp.
And when you breathe as well, it hurts. It's like a sharp breathing. It's like something, it's almost like if you swallowed a pin and it went into your lungs. A bit like that. Kind of. Now, my dad had that out of, like, to the point he nearly got brain damage, I think.
What?
I don't think he did, but I think temporarily his brain, he was so incoherent and he's demented, just like that. He's fully recovered. He ended up in hospital and they put him on oxygen, yeah. And then they decided to take him into the ICU. Yeah. And then, he recovered very quickly from. They told him he was going to be in there anyway for 3 weeks to possibly like a month or so. When he first went in the day, he went in and said, "You can't go anywhere. We're going to need to keep an eye on you." But he recovered like no tomorrow. Then they did a test. Now, when you get tested, they tested him again and he was negative. But they're still damaged. There's still like collateral damage from the corona.
For coronavirus, like
But he was tested negative, so even when the coronavirus is gone, it kind of did its assault on the lungs. So there's collateral like damage. It's like if a tornado hit somewhere, that even though the storm's gone, the damage is there.
Really?
Yeah. So even though the coronavirus is gone, you still have a lot of the symptoms of the coronavirus still. You just tested negative, so it doesn't mean you have recovered. It just means it's no longer attacking your lungs anymore. But your lungs still have to heal from it, because it literally does, whatever it does, it scars your lungs. I mean, I don't know if I have scarring or not, but it's not enough for me to feel anything. So from my perspective, from his perspective, it looked like he was just dementing. He was on his way out. He'd have got fluctuations. At his best, he'd be kind of lazily walking around and maybe getting a bit bad tempered and all that, and then causing my family's extreme anxiety, because we thought he was going to die basically.
Everyone would be stressed out big time,
because at that moment it looked like people going to hospital won't ever come out again. You weren't coming out. It was a death sentence, or so it seemed. And this was at the absolute height when it was almost out of control here.
What month was that again?
March
in Ireland.
Yeah, right. That was a very, very bad month here. Very bad. And then, but as he got out, the situation I think deteriorated in Ireland in general. But I think for him, he kind of got out. He got out after a week, and they still need to go in for heart tests and things like that. But he's now almost, I'd say, fully recovered from it. But it takes months.
That's great.
It is, but it's a long recovery. It's not like a flu where you recover maybe after a week. So with me, I had the cough, then I had the typical fever symptoms.
After or during?
During, right, yeah. Lots of appetite. And then they kind of cleared away quick enough. But then everything else went away and I was fine. But I kept on coughing. And that went on probably, I'd say, until May. So I'd say another month and a half of constant coughing.
A month and a half?
Of just pure coughing.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and you think you've gone away, but I almost even forgot what it was like to not have a cough. Because I was to me, I just kind of adjusted to it, and to me that was my life. It was almost like there's a sense of permanence, and it just wouldn't go away at all. Yeah. It feels like it never will, and then it slowly then kind of goes, and then it comes back slightly less, goes, fluctuates, typical fluctuations. It's never like a linear pattern. It's like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, small, and it kind of, the swings become smaller and smaller, and then now it's gone.
All I can think about is playgrounds right now. The swings on playgrounds.
it literally swings. Like, it's literally like a swing. It's a crazy, crazy disease. And that's, I think, and even though I would have been tested negative at that stage.
Really?
because I felt all the other symptoms. Apparently it goes away. I think this disease goes away pretty quickly, but that leaves a lot of damage, which is why the recovery rate is so slow.
Yeah.
But it just lingers on for ages, and the cough, because it's a disease of the lungs. It's like my dad. He basically had pneumonia, and so that's why he had to be put on oxygen and increase his oxygen in the ICU, because it was basically full on pneumonia, and because it's COVID-19 pneumonia, they couldn't treat him normally the way they normally treat pneumonia.
How do you normally treat pneumonia?
I think it's like antibiotics or something like that, okay. Possibly. But you have to have it injected into through intravenous, because it's pneumonia. It's like it's one of the diseases that it's very easy to be treated, but if you don't treat it, there's a high chance it will kill you. There's some diseases which the recovery is bloody brilliant, but most diseases where you can recover well from it, if you don't get it treated, you'd be fine. But it's one of the diseases where you can have a good recovery rate, but untreated has a very poor outcome. It has a very high chance of killing you or causing some serious damage anyway. But if you get it treated early soon, you've almost no chance of getting sick again from it. Like you won't fall sick, you'll recover fully. You probably won't get it again, maybe.
Great.
But so that's so basically, to sum up what it's like, it's not like what people think. Because back then people saying, it's like the flu with a fancy name because it came from somewhere else, but it's actually in some ways it's similar with the fever and all, but it's very different. There's an underlying theme throughout, which is like you're coughing, you're breathing. Once you know your breathing's fucked, you got it.
Oh man.
And it's contagious as fuck. It's more contagious than your app. That's why it's went everywhere. That's why the whole world was put into a big recession, lockdown. That's why the whole world literally almost stopped spinning. And what's really scary is that the only way we live in a country where we don't get natural disasters
lovely.
But then, like in certain parts, they get like tornadoes and hurricanes, and you think how unlucky they were. Yet this thing called coronavirus, Mother Nature comes along and caused way more deaths than any of those natural disasters in a single incident. So we were hit it's like imagine a swarm of bees come in the form of viruses flying around everywhere, waiting to get you. And it's so aggressive. It's as stubborn as fuck. I would describe those things as stubborn bacteria that just goes into your viral bacteria, whatever it is. It goes literally straight into your system. Its aim is to get to your lungs. That's what it's like a magnet to your lungs. Do you know where, like with lights, insects are attracted to lights? Like the coronavirus is literally attracted to your lungs, which is why it caused like 8% of deaths. It's supposed to be a lot like the SARS virus, but it's not quite as bad, but it's not much better either. I think, but for some reason it's much more contagious than like your typical flu or something like that. It's like, because the reason being is like in most cases if you have the flu or something, you have to be shown symptoms in order to spread it for someone, but with the coronavirus, you don't have to have any symptoms. You could have it in you and never show symptoms, but you could give it to 10 other people, which is why it's so dangerous.
And I know you've had it, and I kind of didn't say this to you because of whatever reasons, but apparently it mutates and so on. So even though you've had it, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't get it again. So do you have any thoughts about that?
Meaning that you can't get it again?
No, you can get it again, allegedly, because it keeps mutating.
So in the same instant. Do you know what? I honestly didn't know that.
Now, this is rumours I've heard, I've been watching it. Because when I was talking to Dr. Boogie, everyone at home, I kept saying to Dr. Boogie, have you heard of this conspiracy theory? Have you heard they're all trying to conspiracy theory, conspiracy? And Dr. Boogie was like, chill out, alright? Chill out. There's no conspiracy theories going on.
I didn't know, what they don't know is that whether you can get it again or not. But if whether it stays in your system now, I'd like to think like if I recovered from it, then to some extent the immune system would have eventually kicked in and
hopefully
destroyed most of it. So even if it does mutate, it won't be as bad. I'll just give it to you and everyone else. Grand. Fuck that. I don't care. So, but whether you can get it again or not, I don't know. I don't know. To me, it was like having the vaccine and then by getting the illness and then you recovering from it. Is that like the long-winded way of getting a vaccination from a disease? Is by getting the disease and not dying from it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I mean, if that's the case, then but I don't think they know enough yet. Because it's a very new. That's why they call it the novel virus.
Novel means new, does it?
Yeah. It's not a fucking novelty anyways. I don't know. Usually when they describe novelty as something, usually means it's held in very high esteem.
Yeah.
But in this case it's novel without the T on the end.
Yeah.
But it's a bollocks of a... It's a... Yeah, it fucks you up and it puts you out of action for a while anyway, but it depends. It's all different levels. I've heard of other people who had it, like some say they had a bad headache for a few days and then it went.
No way.
Yeah, some of them.
And these younger folks?
Younger, yeah. Even younger than me. This other person said he had a headache really bad because his parents both got it as well. And, but none of them got it severe, but he got a very kind of the tail end of it and he said he just got it. He didn't notice anything in the lungs, but he said it got to his head and then it just disappeared. And then he was fine again after that. He recovered. So there's lots of different levels of it as well. And I would say I had all the symptoms, but not enough to cause serious concern. But just a little bit uncomfortable for a couple of weeks. And then it peaks and then you come out of it. And then the cough is like the leftover, which goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah. But what's really interesting, like you said something about it mutates, I think, because apparently what it does is you recover. Some people, they recover, and it's not a straightforward recovery like it is from your typical cold. You recover and you could be fine for a few weeks and then you fall sick again and then you recover, fall sick, recover. Even if you don't get it from outside, it comes back, it goes away, comes back, it waits until you recover, then it goes and attacks you again. Yeah, and then it just gets you, and then but then it kind of happens less and less, I think, as the months progress. For me, I would say it was almost like I just kind of lingered on recovery up and down a tiny bit like that towards the end of recovery. It came in waves as such, and then the cough would go and then it kind of come back a little bit and less so each time, and then till it just kind of fizzles out, basically. It happens till you barely notice it. Yeah. But that's how it's... But I think that's your general kind of experience with the virus. It's a crazy motherfucker.
Crazy ass motherfucker.
Motherfucking shite. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too worried about myself, but
were you waking? Were you like just? I know when I get real sick, I just kind of cuddle and like get into a big ball and hope I don't die, and then wake up the next day going, "Oh, thank fuck, I'm still alive." Like, were you very scared of dying? Like, or were you just?
No, luckily, no, I wasn't at that stage.
You worried?
I don't think I had it long enough, like severe enough for a long time to worry that I was going to get to that. If I did, then yeah, I would definitely. Yeah. I probably would start being scared if I was going to die or something like that. Yeah. But I think if I actually didn't know what was happening, I might be worried that I might have a very serious problem with my lungs that eventually is going to cause much worse problems. Yeah. Like lung cancer, you know. But then I kind of, because the coronavirus was around at that stage, it was wreaking havoc everywhere. Yeah. But I didn't think... That's the thing, my dad, when he first got it, he showed similar symptoms to it. It was mild for like a week, and then he started to go down. He just wasn't getting any better. Yeah. He kind of be worse, then maybe a tiny bit better, getting worse, getting the shower. Then he just literally... He even got well enough to... He drove himself to the drive-through testing centre. Yeah. And then after that, boom, he collapsed. Like he was gone. He was out of it for a few more days. Yeah. And then on the Thursday, we drove him into hospital, and then he was in there for a week, and then he slowly kind of recovered from the virus. And I think he's kind of still sort of recovering, but he's still doing normal stuff. He can go out, plays tennis, plays golf, because at one stage he thought he would never be able to do that again.
Yeah.
But luckily he can do all those things now. He can do everything that he used to be able to do. He may not go on treadmills and gyms, but he can still do things. He loves golf. He's just absolutely, and he can do that, and he does love playing tennis with friends, so he can do all that again. Like, even if it's for short periods, he can go out and play golf, and he can play tennis for at least a couple of hours, and then go for a few pints and stuff like that after.
A few pints, happy days.
So yeah, he can drink and all. He can do everything else. In fact, even tomorrow they've planned to kind of meet up with friends again, and just, it's as if nothing ever happened at this stage, basically.
Class.
From what it looks like, it certainly looks like nothing. Even from what it feels like to me, I don't feel like I had the virus ever. I mean, when I had it, I thought, like, what does it feel like not to have a cough?
Yeah.
It was just absolutely
tickly cough.
Tickly, yeah. A little bit more kind of aggressive, because you breathe, it goes on and then you can't breathe, and then it's just irregular kind of breathing. Then you kind of breathe again, but you can only breathe in so much. If you're breathing too much, you're out of it. And the other thing is fatigue. It causes a lot of fatigue. Like, you're tired like very quickly. You're out of it very quickly. Become sleepy quite a lot as well. Although I suppose most illnesses do that. I mean, it completely drains your energy.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's typical with any illness. But luckily for me, I only had like a stint of it, whereas I was in among the 80% still, but my dad was among the 20% who have it. 4% have it very critical, and I think among that some will die. But I don't think he got to the 4%, but he was one of the national statistics of being in the ICU.
Yeah.
But he wasn't on the ventilator as such. But it's scary for anyone to know, because you want to keep an eye on things, because that ventilator, once you're on that, you're gone pretty much.
You're gone.
Fucking worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just waiting. Imagine you had a family member just on that thing, and the doctor calling you every day telling you, well, we're trying to do this, but we're not sure, we'll keep an eye on things. I mean, that's why I think it's the world's biggest natural disaster, because, I mean, not only the cause of death, but the grief, even the ones that recover, the grief and the collateral damage it causes is it's like on such a ridiculously, almost like terroristic scale, I would say. It's like a Mother Nature being a fucking terrorist and just causing maximum damage possible. It's almost like, you ever heard these conspiracy theories, like, there's these religious conspiracy theories, even, and I know I don't believe it.
Go on.
Oh, it's so funny. Like, somebody put it down to the second coming of Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Like the usual stuff. And then another one's like the apocalypse is coming, the doomsday prophecies and all that. The reset. So it's like Joe, like in religion, like in Christianity, they believe in the flood that killed everyone and wiped out and restarted the whole thing again. I mean, that's what some people thinking this coronavirus was doing. It's just basically it was just gonna kind of get rid of everything, and it was just like Mother Nature's just God, if they want to put it in. I mean, I don't believe that at all. But they were just saying that God is just kind of rearranging the world to get rid of the bastards, and then kind of just start the whole thing again, because it's getting bad. It's like, because a lot of people, and what's really scary is Mother Nature really was showing itself, because when they went to lock down, the cities were empty. Guess who was taking over? All the wildlife was returning to the cities and taking over. Yeah,
it's wild.
And I couldn't believe it's like, because it literally this thing that's more powerful than anything was literally dictated our lives. I mean, we used to think that only humans could do that, but we forgot that Mother Nature sometimes has control over us as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't listen to it, it's going to cause you... It's the one thing that will never negotiate with you.
Fuck.
You can never negotiate with Mother Nature, ever. It's totally uncompromising. 100%. And you either have to like literally go with it, or go. If you go against it, you're fucked. So you might as well go with it. But then if it decides it doesn't like you for a while, or it doesn't like the way the planet is, it's going to show it by killing lots of people, and then even the ones that survive, it's going to just absolutely wreck their lives. I would say a good chunk of the world's people are destroyed, and then bring on the recession. It's gonna go on for years. The recovery rate.
Really?
Oh yeah. Apparently we're in a massive. I looked at the markets, the graphs, the stock of, and I've never seen anything like it. It was like a roller coaster. It was literally going up and down, big swings. Next you know, it's literally a straight line down from floor to ceiling. Literally just boom, crash. Everything just literally crashed and wiped out. It's like the whole economies were gone, almost like. And it's like, how the fuck we're gonna get out of that one? Yeah. So it like literally just absolutely destroyed some of the economies. Like full on recession. I think apparently it's even worse than the previous one we had.
No.
So we're fucking.
The last one was real bad.
Well, this one's apparently even worse.
Damn.
Yeah, no, they've. But it was caused, but because the cause was by Mother Nature, they seem to think that you might be able to recover from it quicker. It depends how if we respond to it together, we can recover a lot quicker. But if they go in with still the same attitudes going against each other, then it's going to be even worse. It's going to be a long, ongoing recession that's going to go on. It's going to be they're going to be called the Great Lockdown Recession.
Yeah.
Which is like, basically means even if the lockdown ends, the collateral, which means the secondary impacts of it, is just going to go on and on and on, and that's going to last for. So it's still going to be called the Great Lockdown.
Shit.
Because that was like the ultimate shutdown, which caused the biggest recession in the world. The whole world's been put out of action.
Holy fuck balls.
Yeah, we had the balls to fucking survive. I survived coronavirus.
Yeah, man. You fucking did, like.
That was fun.
No fucking around. You made it.
No fuckery here.
Alright, do you have anything else you want to get off your chest before we finish the episode? We're at 46 minutes.
Oh, well...
Any words of advice?
Well, if you're... Oh, sorry, I've got a few minutes. So, you basically recover from that.
Yeah.
It's great to know when you recover from it. It's like, thank God I recovered from it. I haven't shown any symptoms. I've been completely symptom free now for a while, which is good.
Asymptomatic.
Symptomatic music. But you just even if you're like, okay, so if I was to give tips what to do if you're sick, obviously take care of your health first before anything else. Try call your doctor on the phone first. I'm not going to say the usual self-isolate bullshit, because I'm not going to add to anyone's grief and all that, because even just hearing that shit, it's like pissed me off anyway.
Yeah.
It's like if you are, try and do something. If you said there were certain things you wanted to get done because you couldn't do, you were too busy. Well, not even, like, I had certain things I wanted to do at home. Like, it's like I didn't have time because I was working. It's like I'll do it when I go to bed, but now I have loads of time because I'm out sick home. It's like I'm going to do all those things.
Yeah.
Unless you're absolutely dying and you have to go to the hospital, then you can literally, you'd be well enough. If you can open your eyes, then you can go and try out some of these things.
Yeah.
If you're coherent enough, and like I was doing the money stuff, trade and all that, and so I was working away at that, and I mean the main thing is, I mean this is a natural disaster. This is like, it's like imagine having, I mean if we had tornadoes in every country around the same time for 2 months, you still wouldn't probably get the same level of deaths. The reason being is you can see those things and you can take shelter. We'd all be underground in no time in the basements. You go in the basement of Pennies or something like that, you'd all shelter under there. And the thing is, there'd be some deaths, but not anywhere near the amount that you would see. And yet it would be perceived as worse, but this is more like a silent killer, because it's invisible, it's everywhere, you can't see it, you don't know when it is.
Yes.
And the thing is, tornadoes, I mean, while it does kill, very few people die from being out in tornado or hurricane storms. I mean, they might lose their homes and all that, but people might lose their homes now because of this as well.
Oh yeah? Mortgages and shit?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, because people are going to lose jobs, businesses have completely collapsed. I mean, especially the small ones, they're gone, like they've literally wiped. It's like, you might as well get a tornado, spawn a tornado like they do in Minecraft and just wipe it out. It's no difference, because the landlords will tell them to fuck off anyway. Most of them landlords will like just put the rents up because they worry that they might lose money and they won't be able to afford the rent. And So yeah, they'll be put out. Supermarkets are okay because they have to open anyway, but they'll be gone first, and yet the families, that's going to cause problems. Undoubtedly, it's going to cause severe. So if you can, so a lot of kind of work, and something I kind of learned from all of this is that, do you really need an office? If you can do your work online anywhere, with the way the internet is now, do you really need to build an office? Because you don't want to lose your right on a building to keep your business alive if you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, some people still think that it's all about fancy office chairs in a glass building and all that, but you don't really need that at all. In fact, far from it. And I find that just so restrictive, and maintenance, it's just unnecessary maintenance. Like, if you can be equally as profitable without it, you're going to be more profitable because you don't have to pay for electricity, rent, and all that bullshit and all that stuff. You literally, with the way the internet is now, you can do that from home. There's no excuse really at this stage, really.
Great.
It can be done. I mean, it's the ultimate it's the one thing. The internet's like one place where it looks like you're in the same country all over. It's accessible from anywhere.
Right.
You teleport into like the cyberspace. It's a whole different world, but it's accessible by pretty much everyone, almost. And it's standard. It's just as standard as like a fax machine back in the day, or as a telephone.
Yeah.
And so there's plenty of things you can do. Like, I mean, considering how you could probably run a few things, you can join groups, social groups around the world and things like that. You can join, if there's a hobby you like, even a hobby you like, something that you're really into and you want to do it just yourself, go ahead and do that as well. There's so many things you can do, like during all this stuff. So, and then when things kind of calm down a bit, then maybe start going out there, look for groups online and actually go out and meet those groups or do whatever when things get to the stage where you can do all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing like with the Spanish flu. I mean, they didn't have all this technology. I mean, you would have been fucking hell, yeah. Jesus, scary to think that almost exactly like 102. Yeah. And that's
meant to happen every 100 years. This fucking world.
Yeah. Holy fuck, yeah. So I say at least one person, whoever's born, will go through at least this once in a lifetime. If your average expectancy is 80 years, there's probably a 80% chance that you're gonna experience an episode like this in your lifetime. In each person's lifetime, if they live to 80 years on average, there's probably about 70 to 80% chance that a couple of lives or a few months is going to be taken out by a big pandemic like this. So if it happens every 100 years, that's what they call a pattern, like of probabilities. So yeah, it's crazy, but yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, did you hear about conspiracy theories about being released from a lab?
I have a lot. Allegedly, for all you people out there, allegedly. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that, because I've said loads of stuff about that. Allegedly.
Well, I don't know. All I heard is that they actually got some sort of organism and they created it out of a lab and just like gave it to people and got them travelling around the world with it. And then just spreading it everywhere. And then they're saying on the news that they're containing it. And I don't know, it's all conspiracy stuff. I don't necessarily believe it at all. But there's other things, like another one is that one person went to a wet market and they literally got like a seafood and someone just ate it and then just one person gave it to the whole lot. And then another possible outcome is that
so many
bats,
different possible outcomes, yeah.
And
the bats.
Another thing is bats like flying around and just like, even just by flying around near humans, you passing on the virus to the humans as well. But then there was another theory where someone was eating bat soup and then did you hear today there was another outbreak in Beijing, and basically they're saying that it was involved in another wet market as well. It seems that there's another outbreak and it happened to be near a wet market. So I'm kind of beginning to see a pattern here. First of all, this one was supposed to be from a market. Then they're saying it probably wasn't. It could have been. Well, I don't believe the lab, but the bats flying around is more plausible. But then, but then now today, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, they were saying that now they put Beijing in lockdown, and then there was a market being investigated. So I don't know what's going on exactly, but
yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and you wouldn't know what to believe. All right,
but I think
we don't know.
I mean, we just need to notice there's going to be a certain trend here. You're going to notice something, even if they did try to hide it. I mean, it's not. It's only. I mean, the WHO won't be letting them away with that. I mean, if it keeps coming back from the same place, how long can you hide it? If you're going to try and destroy, if they were actually going to try and destroy the whole world, I mean, how long can they keep on doing it for before everyone decides to boycott the whole place? If it was true, if that's what they're doing, I mean, they can't keep doing this forever.
Yeah.
They can only do it so far before their game's up.
Game's up, yeah.
Because if no one else is involved, then if it's only them, if it's always coming from the same place, then I mean, it's like you say, if you do something once, you may not get caught ever, but if you keep on doing it, your risk of getting caught increases when you keep on doing it, because they start tracing your moves. Even some I've watched programs of like this drug dealer who was on one of those Banged Up Abroad episodes. There was a drug dealer who was on surveillance for, and he noticed that there was an undercover. He didn't know it was an undercover car. He just thought it was another drug dealer chasing after him for money or something like that, and he managed to get away hidden. But looking back on it, when he was arrested and put in prison, that was actually an undercover car. He was just surveilling him. They weren't even trying to arrest him. They were just building up a case, and when they had enough evidence, they could go for the biggest charges possible. So then when he got all of that sorted, he moved house to hide away, to sold the house, and then they just went and busted him. So I don't know, with this thing as well, they can do this for so long before they're going to get caught, and there's going to be kind of action. I mean, so I'm not sure if it'd be a good idea for them to keep on doing it. If that's the case.
Yeah, we're throwing out big accusations here. But sure.
But I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think it's true or anything like that. I mean, why would they want to do it? If they want to do business and things like that, even if they still wanted to take over, they still need to kind of do a bit of persuasion. Being sending out viruses isn't exactly gonna. It's just gonna have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
I think anyway, but I don't think that's what they're doing. And unless I hear otherwise, I'm gonna innocent till proven guilty.
That's it. So listen, Dr. Boogie, there's only 3 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
And that's the end of this Saturday's podcast, and there will be another episode tomorrow on Sunday. So you have that to look forward to. So, jeepers, you've covered so much in such a short amount of time, Dr. Boogie. Wild accusation against China. Wild accusations against wild allegedly accusations against
Mother Nature.
Wild allegedly accusations against the colour white paint. Fucking hell. What's the
difference? What's the space between white and black?
Forever or eternity or one of those.
Yeah, so something crazy like No Man's Land.
No Man's Land.
Fucking hell! I always wanted to kind of everything I was very curious. Like when you're watching any program and then it flips over to another scene. Always wanted to know what it looked like in that transition period in between. Just crazy shit.
So, what do people have to look forward to in the next episode, Sunday's episode? This is Saturday's episode. Sunday's episode is going to be released in a few hours. What do they have to look forward to? What are you going to talk about in the next episode, which will be out tomorrow?
We're going to go a little bit
You're going to stretch people's minds. There's been rumours about Luigi boards. There's been rumours about fires. There's been rumours about you catching coronavirus again, just for publicity. What do the people have to expect from you tomorrow?
You got to expect a bit of fun, deep stuff.
Fun and deep stuff. Fun.
Deep fun and a bit of a mindfuck adventure.
Jeez. I also got to talk nice to them in their ear. Speak loving words of lovingness. You've only got 57 seconds left before you're finished.
This is the countdown to the end of the virus. The end of the virus era. So I'm going to play out. You like the keyboard cats when they say play them out. This is coronavirus. Play them off. This is the coronavirus blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the end of it. We only have 12 seconds left and that's it. We're gone. So we'll see you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Tune in for Sunday episode and we're big fans of you. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, thank you so
and
much.
Over and out. Get out of here. Go on. You know how to go to. Bye.